Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Bible Summary Series. Today we're starting in Numbers chapter 17. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Tell the Israelites to bring you 12 staffs, one from each of the leaders of the 12 tribes of Israel. Each man is to write his name on his staff. You are to write Aaron's name on his for the tribe of Levi. Then place these staffs in the tent of meeting in front of the ark of the covenant, where I meet with you. The staff belonging to the man I choose will blossom. Then at last this murmuring and complaining against you will stop." So Moses spoke to the Israelites, and their leaders gave him 12 staffs, one from each leader of their tribes, along with Aaron's. Moses placed their rods before the Lord in the tabernacle. The next day, when Moses entered the tent of meeting, he saw that Aaron's staff, representing the tribe of Levi, had sprouted. Not only had it sprouted, it had budded and blossomed and produced ripe almonds. So Moses brought out the staffs from the tent and showed them to the Israelites. Each man stared and took their rods back. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Put Aaron's staff back in front of the ark of the covenant, to be kept as a sign to these rebellious people. This will put an end to their complaints against me, so they will not die." So Moses did as the Lord commanded him. Afterwards, the Israelites said to Moses, "We're doomed. We're lost. We're all lost. Anyone who even comes near the Lord's tabernacle dies. Are we all going to perish?" In Numbers chapter 18, the Lord told Aaron, "You will have no inheritance in their land, neither will you have any part among them. I am your part and your inheritance among the children of Israel. And behold, I have given the children of Levi all the 10th in Israel for an inheritance, for their service which they serve me, even the service of the tabernacle of the congregation." Then he warned Aaron, "From now on, no Israelites other than the priests and Levites are to enter the sanctuary. If they come too near, they shall be judged guilty and die. Only the Levites may work there." And again the Lord said, "This is a permanent law for you, from generation to generation. But the tithes of the children of Israel, which they offer as an offering to the Lord, I have given to the Levites for their inheritance. That is why I have said to them, among the children of Israel they will have no inheritance." In Numbers chapter 19, God gave further instructions to the Israelites for sacrifices and the laws to be followed. Then in Numbers chapter 20, in the first month, all the Israelites finally arrived at the wilderness of Zin, and they camped at Kadesh. While they stayed there, Miriam died and was buried. But there was no water there for them to drink, so the people once again rebelled against Moses and Aaron. They quarreled against Moses and said, "If only we had died when our brothers perished before the Lord. And why have you brought the Lord's people into this wilderness, that both we and our cattle should die? Why did you make us leave Egypt and bring us here to this terrible place? It has no grain, no figs, no grapevines, no pomegranates, and there's no water to drink." Moses and Aaron left the people and went to the entrance to the tent of meeting. There they fell face down, and the glory of the Lord appeared to them. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Take the rod and gather the entire congregation. You and your brother Aaron are to speak to the rock while they watch, and it will pour out its water. You will bring water out of the rock for the people of Israel, and they and their livestock will drink." So Moses took the staff from the Lord's presence, and he and Aaron gathered every one in front of the rock. "Listen now, you rebels," Moses said. "Must we bring you water out of this rock?" Then Moses raised his hand and struck the rock twice with his staff. Water gushed out of it, and the community and their livestock drank. But the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "Because you did not trust in me enough to honor me as holy in the sight of the Israelites, you will not bring this community into the land I am giving them." From then on, this place was known as the Waters of Meribah, which means arguing, because the Israelites quarreled with the Lord, and he showed his holiness to them. While Moses was at Kadesh, he sent messengers to the king of Edom, saying, "This is what your brother Israel says. You know all about the hardships that have come upon us. Our ancestors went down into Egypt, where we lived for a long time. There the Egyptians mistreated us and our ancestors. But when we cried to the Lord, he heard us and sent an angel and brought us out of Egypt. Now we are here at Kadesh, a town on the edge of your territory. Please, let us pass through your country. But when we pass through, we won't go through any of your fields or vineyards or drink any water from your wells. We will stay on the main road and not turn to the right or to the left until we have passed through your territory." But Edom said, "You may not pass through here. If you try, we will come out and attack you with the sword." The Israelites answered, "We'll stay on the main road, and if we or our livestock drink any of your water, we'll pay for it. We only want to pass through on foot, nothing else." But Edom said, "You may not pass through." Then Edom came out against them with a large and powerful army. And since Edom refused to let them go through their territory, Israel had to turn around. So all the Israelites left Kadesh and came to Mount Hor. At Mount Hor, near the border of Edom, the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "Aaron will be gathered to his people. He will not enter the land I give the Israelites, because both of you rebelled against my command at the waters of Meribah. Take Aaron and his son Eleazar up Mount Hor. Remove Aaron's priestly garments and place them on his son, for Aaron will be gathered to his people. He will die there." Moses did as the Lord commanded. They went up Mount Hor in the sight of all the people. There Moses removed Aaron's garments and placed them on Eleazar his son. And Aaron died on top of the mountain. Then Moses and Eleazar came down, and when the whole community learned that Aaron had died, all the Israelites mourned for him for 30 days. In Numbers chapter 21, when the Canaanite king of Arad, who lived in the Negev, heard that Israel was coming by the way of the spies on the Atarim road, he fought against Israel and captured some of them. Then Israel vowed to the Lord, "If you will indeed deliver these people into our hands, we will totally destroy their cities." So the Lord listened to Israel's plea and handed the Canaanites over to them. The Israelites completely destroyed them and their towns. So the place was named Hormah, which means destruction. Then the Israelites left Mount Hor and took the road to the Red Sea to go around Edom, since the Edomites wouldn't let them pass through. But the people grew impatient with the long journey. They spoke against Moses and God, saying, "Why have you brought us out of Egypt to die in the wilderness? There's no bread, there's no water, and we detest this miserable manna." Then the Lord sent venomous snakes among them. They bit the people, and many of the Israelites died. The people came to Moses and cried, "We have sinned by speaking against the Lord and against you. Please pray to the Lord to take the snakes away from us." So Moses prayed for the people. The Lord said to Moses, "Make a replica of a venomous snake and place it on a pole, and it will come to pass that everyone who is bitten, when he looks upon it, will live." So Moses made a bronze snake and placed it on a pole. Then when anyone who was bitten looked up at the bronze snake, they recovered. After this, the Israelites traveled from place to place, from Oboth to Liabarim, then to the valley of the brook Zered, and from there to the other side of the Arnon River, then to Beer, which means a well. This is the place where the Lord told Moses, "Summon the people, and I will give them water." Then they traveled to Mattanah, then Nahalil, then Bamoth, then to the valley in Moab, where the top of Pisgah overlooks the wasteland. There Israel sent messages to Sihon, king of the Amorites, and said, "Let us pass through your land. We won't go through your fields or vineyards or drink water from any of your wells. We'll stay on the king's highway until we pass through your territory." But Sihon refused to allow them to pass through his territory. Instead, he mustered his entire army and marched into the wilderness to confront Israel at Jahaz. There he fought against Israel. But the Israelites struck down the king of the Ammonites with a sword and took over his land from the Arnon to the Jabbok River, but only up to the border of the Ammonites, because it was fortified. So Israel captured all the city of the Amorites and settled in them, including Heshbon and all its surrounding villages. Then Moses sent spies to Jazer, and the Israelites captured its surrounding settlements and drove out the Amorites who were there as well. Afterwards, the Israelites turned and marched up the road to Bashan. But King Og of Bashan and all his people attacked them at Edrei. "Do not be afraid of them," the Lord said to Moses, "for I have handed him over to you with his whole army and his land. Do to him what you did to Sihon, king of the Amorites, who ruled in Heshbon." So they struck down King Og of Bashan and his sons and all of his people until there were no survivors, and they took possession of his land.
In the wilderness, the Lord proclaimed to Moses in the night, "Bring me staffs from every tribe, each leader's name inscribed. Place them in the sacred tent before the ark divine. Aaron's rod for Levi's tribe, a sign for all of time. Oh, Aaron's staff has blossomed with almonds ripe and new, a miracle before their eyes, his chosen priest they knew. Let all the murmurs fade away, let complaints now cease, for God has shown his mighty hand and granted us his peace." Thirsting in the desert land, the people cried in fear, "Why have you brought us from Egypt's hand? There's no water here." Moses struck the solid rock when told to speak instead. Waters flowed, but trust was lost. Their fate by God was read. Oh, water from the rock did flow, yet consequences came. "For you did not honor me," the Lord declared their blame. Moses and Aaron barred from the promised land so true, a lesson in obedience for me and for you. Edom's king denied the path, so round they had to go. Aaron climbed Mount Hor's great heights. His time had come to go. His garments passed to Eleazar. His son took up the call. The people mourned for 30 days, a loss felt by all. Oh, journeys fraught with trials faced, yet God's plan moved ahead. Through battles won and losses felt, by his strong hand they're led. From Hormah to the serpent's bronze, his mercy ever shone, healing all who look to him, his glory fully known. Against the Amorite kings they marched, victories were gained. Sihon and Og were overthrown. Their cities now remain. Through valleys deep and mountains high, they pressed toward the land, trusting in the promises made by God's own mighty hand. Oh, Aaron's staff has blossomed, a testament of grace, a symbol of God's chosen one for all the tribes to trace. Let us remember and believe his words forever stand, for we are guided by his love, safe within his hand. So let us on our journey walk, with faith and not with sight, remembering his deeds of old, his power and his might. For in his time his plans unfold, his promises endure, our inheritance awaits above. In him we are secure.